What is your got caught masturbating story? 1. Does fake masturbating count? I was in boarding school and we weren't allowed to have computers or electronics. I was in my bed playing with my PSP when one of the supervisors comes and I panic and hide my PSP under the covers, and he didn't see it. He comes over to me, already suspicious, and asks me, "What are you doing?" I didn't want to lose my PSP, so said masturbating, and he believed me. PSP saved. When I was 11. My mother always enters my room without knocking. I have said please knock before you enter. I always get jump scared when you don't knock. One day I had enough. I acted as if I was masturbating. My mother entered and was like, "OMG, sorry." I stood up and said, "For what?" She just laughed for a few minutes and then left. She knocked on the door for a while before she went back to not knocking. 2. Caught after the fact. I was in my early teens when I discovered the joy jacking off. Then my mind was truly blown when I discovered I could beat it up in the shower. After the first week or so of just carelessly painting the walls of the shower with my baby banner, my dad comes into my room and says, "If you're going to blow your nose in the shower, make sure it goes down the drain." I scratched my head and with a confused look I responded, "I don't blow my nose in the shower." To which my dad responded, "Just make sure it goes down the drain." 3. Spent a summer sleeping on the couch at my grandpa's when I was about 14. Decided to rub one out one night and about midway through just hear "Oh God damn it" as I see Pawpaw shuffling back to his room. 4. When I was about 11 I technically got caught mashing my meat to SpongeBob. Back then I'd jerk off to those top celebrity beach body compilations on VH1 or whatever, but they had commercials, and I wasn't hanging around for that. So I'd switch to another channel during the breaks, but sort of keep things going. Anyway, the result of this was that my older brother walked in on me, and I had just switched to Nickelodeon. I'll never forget him saying to SpongeBob, and leaving the room dying of laughter. 5. Okay, so this was in university, so I wasn't new to jerking it by any means. But I was taking a class called apiculture, which is the study of bees and pollinators. Anyway, one afternoon I am going at it by myself in my room at the place I was renting. It's an older house, so the doors had no locks. My roommate knocks on my door right around the time I was almost done my task, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I just say, "Reading my B-book." Then he just opens the door, and I'm standing up facing my computer with my junk in my hand just giving her. I yell, "Get out, I'm reading my B-book." He slams the door and walks away. From then on the lantern was reading my B-book. 6. When I was young, I was curious about tits, so I opened MSN search and searched boobs. A message comes up saying the search was blocked, so I decided that this meant I was going to get arrested. In tears, I told my parents what I'd done, but to save myself from embarrassment, I pretended I just misspelled Pokemon. Yeah, in hindsight they probably didn't believe me. 7. Not me, but a good one nonetheless. My wife told me her best friend wanted to invite everyone over to her new pool. We pack up the kids and head over where there are about 5 to 6 couples and about a dozen kids or so. The husband of said friend stated to everyone that unfortunately he had to leave a little early as he was on call, utility guy, and was going in to shower. In about 10 minutes or so, the lovely summer vibe music over the Bluetooth speaker turned to something more, aggressive. It was essentially the sounds of slapping, sucking, and patty talk. That's the first thing that someone said, because kids. And then my wife's friend bolted towards the house to end the noises that all kids in flotation devices were asking, "What is that?" So in summary, he does not get to select the music anymore for parties. The old watching porn with your phone and not realizing your Bluetooth is connected to speaker problem. 8. Searched Heidi Klum nude. Heidi Klum tits. Heidi Klum boobs. Heidi Klum naked. On my aunt's computer when I was babysitting younger cousins. They printed it out, and we had an uncle, aunt, mom, dad, and 12 Wyoming meeting to go over the search history and the dangers of pornography. There were more searches than that, but those are the ones I remember. Love you, Heidi. My nieces were doing voice-to-text searches when they were 7 or 8. They looked up deer butthole and fish butthole. They said they didn't know what they looked like and wanted to know. I can understand fish butthole. 9. First time I was ever caught was by my older sister. She usually knocked before opening. Guess she forgot I was 14 or something. Barged in while I'm in the middle of it. All I heard, I was facing away from the door, was a "Hey." Whoa. Door slams shut. Dad. My name needs a freaking lock. To which he yells back, "The why you knock? Sister's name, LMAO good times." 10. Too many to count honestly, but my favorite one was probably 15 years old. Family computer was in the front room. It was after school and parents were in their room. I figured a quick stroke to relieve some teenage angst. My mom came out unexpectedly, and I tried to shut it down and pull pants up in one motion. The computer was old and slow, so it took a second for the page to close, so she def saw what I was seeing for a brief second. I got a laptop that Christmas. Too many to count? At some point you gotta learn your lesson, bro. The guy is swimming in laptops now. 11. I was at a friend's house a few weeks ago, hanging out with her and her boyfriend. After a late night movie, they retired to her room, while I stayed in the living room to sleep on the couch. After they were gone a while, I figured it was safe to rub one out. I heard a quiet sound a few minutes into my furious rubbing. I opened my eyes to see her Furbo pet camera was on maybe 3 feet away and activated by my movement. It is tied to her phone with notifications on too. I looked directly at it then tried to pretend I wasn't doing that. So yeah, I was accidentally a cam girl for my friends, lol. 12. When I was 15, I read that the inside of a banana feels very similar to the inside of a vagina. I craft my masterpiece, this makeshift banana, and take it down to our half basement when the computer's at. Midway through, about solidly going to town on this banana, I hear a bang on the window above me and see feet start running. Turns out my best friends decided to come by to hang out, but saw I was busy and ran. Told me the next day they hoped I didn't pack a banana for lunch. 13. I got caught gurking off at the family computer at age 13 by my stepdad. His reaction was to get super angry, unplug the computer and call my dad. Upon calling my dad and ratting me out, his face changed pretty abruptly from anger to a frown. He passed me the phone and my dad said I told him to leave you alone. From now on, jerk off in your room. My dad gave me a brown paper bag next time he was in town. It had a perfect 10 meg in it. 14. My mom caught me masturbating with the shower head. I was around 8 and had no idea what I was doing. My mom told me not to do that. There used to be a toy pen called a Wiggly Rider that was a large pen that vibrated. My dad walked in on me at age 6, just holding the pen up to my junk pinson. He asked what I was doing and I told him it felt good. He just decided that conversation wasn't worth having with a 6-year-old, said okay then and shut the door. 15. Oh boy, I got a good one. So in NJ you had to pass this test called the HSPA in order to graduate HS. So during 9th and 10th grade you took a practice version. I took my practice freshman year and we didn't get the grades back until the following year. Coincidentally, it coincided with a parent-teacher conference that did not exactly make me look like a model student. My parents' response to this was simple yet effective. I was grounded until I passed the real test. Now, this meant no video games, TV, cell phone, hanging out with friends, etc. Now the grounding itself really only lasted a year, but my parents said that I had become such a much more productive member of the family that even when I got my grades up I was still not allowed to play video games, or use a computer, or have a lock on my bedroom door until I moved out. So after I passed the stupid test, I actually did pretty good. I was allowed all my privileges back except no lock on your door. Now my father really wasn't keen on the whole no lock thing, but my mother was extremely strong-willed and my father didn't feel like being a soldier all day and then coming home just to go to war with my mother. But one day I was enjoying myself when I heard the front door of the house open. I freaked the hell out because I heard my dad drop his keys in the bowl and I knew he'd be coming straight to my room to chat. I really missed the days where we lived together and got to hang out so much. I jumped out of my desk chair, ran to the door and threw my entire weight against it as he was opening it. Now mind you, my computer is directly in front of my door, and had he opened the door, he would have seen the incredibly weird fetish porn I was looking at. He asked me to open the door, and I just kept yelling, "Father, I am in a state of undress." I have no idea why the fuck my brain chose those words to come out because I have never called him father in my life. Nor do I speak like a weird Victorian-era child. After the second or third time, I yelled it through the door, he walked away and I quickly dressed myself and yanked the power cord out of the back of the PC, perhaps a slight overreaction. A moment later he knocked on my door and said, "Son, are you still in a state of undress?" then laughed hysterically and cracked the door open enough to throw a doorknob W lock through the cracked door onto my bedside table and said, "For whenever you feel like being in a state of undress, you might need this, my beloved child." He then laughed and walked away. I'm pretty sure I put that new doorknob on and cranked out like 4 loads over the course of the next 20 minutes. It was an amazing day. Holy crap, I really didn't think that this post would bring laughter to so many people. Thanks for all the upvotes. 16. In college, I lived in a house with about 15 other people. One day my housemate Claire came bounding into my room. I heard her coming just in time to put everything away ahem. As she entered, she asked, "Why are you just sitting there? And why is your computer off? And why is your face so red?" And then it all clicked for her. You were jacking at that grin. If you have seen the SpongeBob episode where Squidward tries a Krabby Patty for the first time and later SpongeBob catches him enjoying them, asks a series of questions, gets it, then says, "You like Krabby Patties, don't ya?" You know exactly what I mean. Beat for beat. It went down exactly like that and we still laugh about it. Love you, Claire. 17. Not masturbating, but watching porn. I was very young and was sitting on the couch with a laptop watching porn. I just learned of it, and for some reason, I kept the volume at like 5%, and then after a while, my mom asks, "What are you doing?" And I responded, "Oh, I'm playing a video game and a female character got shot," so she made a grunting sound. I don't think she bought it, but that doesn't matter. The old gave too much info too soon. Right. When are way more prepared for the question than you should be. Kids learning to lie is funny. They start off not knowing what to say at all and get caught, and then they swing the other direction and over-prepare and get caught. 18. Didn't get caught masturbating, but this was fun. I was like 11 when I got a PC back in 2001 from my grandpa. I fiddled around with it, and got a CD from a friend the day before with some naughty videos. I was transferring a video to the desktop. Some lesbian fun. As it was done, my grandpa walked into my room and started looking on the screen. "Are you happy with your new PC?" Then looked at the file, reading the title out loud. I just put my hand on the screen thinking like, don't read that. He just looked at me and smiled, and he kept the bro code. Didn't tell my mom or anything. Thanks, Grandpa. R.I.P. 19. There was a steaming hot cup of tea on my bedside table when I opened my eyes and took my headphones off. 20. I live in an apartment, so anyone could walk behind my apartment and look inside the rooms. I left my curtains open, not thinking anyone would come up TP my window. While I was going at it, this older lady just stared at me and then asked if I have seen her cat because her tracker says the cat is in my apartment or the apartment upstairs. I felt too weird to continue masturbating. Sounds like the start to a 90s porno. I'll help you find your pussy, mom. You should check in the bedroom. 21. I was probably 14. My brother was around 24, 25 at the time, late 80s. I had hijacked the VCR for my room. No one really cared, so I kept it in my room. One night I woke up to porn being played, and I could see the shadow on the wall of my brother go into town. I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. Never spoke a word of it. Slightly traumatizing. Lol. 22. When I was 14 years old, at night around 11 p.m., I put my dick in my bed between the mattress, and I was thrusting my bed cause I was mad horny. Then, I thrusted my bed. Too hard and too fast, and the skin on my cock ripped. It was immensely painful. My nuts started bleeding like mad, so I grabbed it and tried walking quietly to the bathroom. In the bathroom, I am holding my bleeding penis in my hand and trying to wipe all the blood off of it. Then, to my surprise, my mom is behind me, and she sees me by the toilet holding my Johnson while it is pouring blood. She asked me, "What are you doing?" My monkey brain quickly thought of a response, and I said, "I'm just masturbating," and then I closed the door. We haven't ever talked about it. 23. Okay, so this isn't me, but I think it applies. We have a guy named Slappy at work. How did he get this nickname, you ask? Well, it's because Slappy jerks off in the public bathroom every single day. When Slappy was finally addressed by management, he provided a doctor's note stating that it was a necessary daily act for him to help with his PTSD. So if you're ever wondering if it's possible to get a doctor's note to jerk off at work, apparently it is. 24. My parents had just gotten divorced, and my mom was absolutely not respectful of my personal space or privacy when I was at her house. One evening I was cranking the Ole Hog with headphones on to limit the sound of the porn I was watching. This also prevented me from hearing my mom yell that dinner was ready, her jiggling my lock door handle and then subsequently picking the lock on my door. She barged right into the room, literally pulled the headphones off of my head while I still had my dick in my hand, and yelled, "Pull your pants up. Shut off the porn and come eat the fucking dinner I made." 25. When I was 18, I was rolling a joint on my bed when my mum suddenly burst in the room. I quickly grabbed the stash close to my groin where I had been rolling and rolled over on my stomach as if I was hiding a boner and yelled at my mum to leave. I didn't realize till I was in that position that I'd basically made the decision in that moment that it was better to be caught masturbating than smoking weed. 26. I was a sophomore in college. My roommate was out due to mono, and after drinking a few beers I had horny tunnel vision. So I locked the door, got my tissues, and didn't notice that a football player friend of mine had come into the room when I was out of the room, drinking, and laid on my roommate's bed, saying nothing, while I treated myself in the dark. Then, as I cleaned up, I noticed him on the bed, while I stood there my dick in my hand. He said, "Don't worry, I won't make you transfer." He did this to 2 other of my friends, and watched and then waited until the end to tell us he was there. Creepy F. 27. My roommate knocked on my door and asked what I was doing. I said masturbating, but in a kinda funny and proper way. She didn't believe me, came in, and I just kept going. Blamed her because she came in. Lol. She just laughed and left. It actually felt pretty great, like tickled a bit of a fantasy to be semi-willingly caught like that by a semi-willing person. I was proud I had the composure to just keep it going, haha.